Welcome to World Gone Weird, everyone. Buckle up because the crazy train is leaving the station and it's got a few extra stops today.
Yeah, it feels like the world has been hitting the fast forward button lately. So much happening, so little time to actually process it all.
Process? I'm not even sure half of this stuff can be processed. It's like trying to make sense of a Jackson Pollock painting while riding a roller coaster.
Indeed. From a purely information theoretic perspective, the signal-to-noise ratio has plummeted. Discerning meaningful patterns is becoming increasingly challenging, especially given the recent events unfolding around the world.
Oh, you mean like Texas turning into a water park overnight? I'm half expecting Noah to show up with a coupon for two of every animal.
Sarah, come on. People have lost their lives. It's a tragedy, not a punchline.
Relax, Otto. Humor's how I cope. Besides, acknowledging the absurdity doesn't diminish the tragedy. It just makes it slightly less soul-crushing. But yes, it is truly tragic.
Yeah, but seriously, what the heck happened there? I saw something about the National Weather Service maybe dropping the ball. Seems a little convenient, doesn't it?
The reports do suggest a potential failure in predictive modeling or communication. The Guadalupe River's rapid surge, over 26 feet in less than an hour, highlights a complex interplay of hydrological factors. Existing flash flood risk models may need refinement, incorporating more sophisticated measures of precipitation intensity and terrain-specific runoff characteristics. It raises the question of whether the NWS warnings were sufficient and timely, and whether existing communication protocols are adequate. It also brings up valid questions as to whether their predictive models failed in some way, not foreseeing this catastrophe.
I think it's too early to point fingers. We need a full investigation to understand what went wrong. But the sheer devastation, those poor kids at Camp Mystic, it's just heartbreaking.
Yeah, losing that many kids, that's something no one should ever have to experience. You know, you send your kids to camp to have fun, learn some skills, not this.
Camp Mystic, huh? Seems like the opposite of mystic right now. More like tragic.
Jimmy, that's awful.
Hey, too soon? I'm just saying, the name's a bit ironic, given the circumstances.
From an emergency response perspective, the difficulty in search and rescue operations due to debris, heat, and continued rainfall underscores the importance of integrating predictive modeling of environmental factors into disaster response planning. Resource allocation strategies should be dynamically adjusted based on real-time data on changing conditions like temperature, humidity, and debris field growth. A question remains in how accurate are the current methodologies for estimating the total extent of casualties in such events, especially when dealing with large-scale debris in obscured access areas.
And what about climate change? I mean, are these extreme weather events just going to keep getting worse and worse? That article says that these storms are dropping way more rain than they used to.
The connection between climate change and extreme weather events is statistically significant. A warmer atmosphere holds more moisture, increasing the potential for intense precipitation. However, attributing any single event solely to climate change is an oversimplification. Natural variability also plays a crucial role. But yes, the atmosphere holding more moisture is creating these downpours.
See, that's what I don't get. They always say climate change may have contributed. Never a straight answer. Makes you wonder, are they just pushing an agenda?
Well, it's science, Jimmy. They deal in probabilities, not certainties. But the trend is clear. And it's not good. More flooding, more droughts, more extreme temperatures. We need to take this seriously.
Speaking of taking things seriously, has anyone seen Trump's solution to this whole mess? I heard he's planning a visit. Like, that's gonna stop the rain?
Oh, you know he'll spin it somehow. Probably blame the Democrats for not building a big enough wall to hold back the water. Or maybe he'll try to buy Texas, like he did with Greenland.
He actually signed a federal disaster declaration, which is good. But I worry that the underlying issues, climate resilience, infrastructure investment, will get lost in the political noise.
The declaration is a necessary but insufficient response. True resilience requires proactive measures, strengthening infrastructure, improving early warning systems, and implementing land use policies that account for increased flood risk. It remains to be seen whether these actions will be prioritized.
So, more bureaucracy, more taxes, more regulations. Sounds thrilling.
It sounds like investing in our future, Sarah. Preventing disasters is cheaper than cleaning them up. It's just common sense.
Common sense seems to be in short supply these days. I mean, look at Peru. Extortion gangs running schools? What is that about?
Oh, you haven't heard. It's the new school choice program. Only instead of vouchers, you get grenades and really unpleasant phone calls.
Sarah, seriously? Those poor families being terrorized just to try and get their kids an education.
The situation in Peru is a stark reminder of the fragility of societal structures in the face of corruption and organized crime. The apparent lack of response from the Peruvian police and government suggests a deep-seated problem of corruption and weakness. It will beg the question of how much this issue can affect the future of Peru, especially its educational system and overall stability.
See, this is what happens when you have weak governments. No rule of law. These gangs just run wild. You need strong leadership, someone to crack down.
But strong leadership can also turn into authoritarianism. It's a delicate balance. We need governments that are both effective and accountable.
Accountable? In this economy? Good luck with that. Though I guess corrupt cops are better than no cops, right? Less paperwork, more personal service.
The former police commander's claim about corrupt cops tipping off gangs highlights a systemic issue. Effective law enforcement requires not only strong leadership, but also robust oversight mechanisms, transparency, and ethical training to prevent corruption and maintain public trust.
And the influx of Venezuelan migrants, it's just compounding the problem. It's a humanitarian crisis on top of a security crisis.
Yeah, well, maybe if Venezuela wasn't such a basket case, people wouldn't be fleeing. That's another example of bad leadership.
It's a complex situation with deep historical roots. Blaming it all on bad leadership is simplistic. But those people are being extorted to death.
So basically, Peru's turning into a real-life version of Grand Theft Auto, only with more textbooks and less carjacking, probably.
Probably? You're awfully optimistic, Sarah.
Hey, gotta find the silver lining somewhere. Otherwise, you just end up staring into the abyss. And the abyss has terrible breath.
Ignoring this issue would just lead to the country ending up in ignorance, as they said in the article. That is a very real possibility here.
Well, let's not forget about the president issuing more tariffs. This is going to really start hurting the economy.
Trump and his tariffs. Here we go again. I swear, he's like a dog with a bone. Can't just let it go, can he?
I just don't understand how that improves anything. He's just making everything more expensive for everyone.
Trump's new tariffs appear to be a knee-jerk reaction, not a calculated strategy. The potential negative impact on American consumers from increased import prices, the stock market fluctuations, and the international political fallout is concerning. What are the long-term implications of these actions? Is this a viable approach in the long run?
Oh, but it's reciprocal tariffs, remember? So it's totally fair. Like a playground fight where everyone gets a participation trophy, even if they lose their teeth.
Reciprocal, my foot. It's just economic strong arming. And who suffers? The little guy. Always the little guy.
Exactly. Those tariffs are just taxes on consumers. And they hurt vulnerable populations the most. It makes fair trade harder and disadvantages the global south.
The claim that Trump is taking particular issue with the trade deficits the United States runs with them, meaning America buys more goods from there compared to the amount that American businesses export to those countries. He also said the tariffs would be set in response to other policies that he deems are impeding American goods from being sold abroad. He's encouraging country leaders to manufacture goods in the United States to avoid tariffs.
It's like he's living in a different reality. He's been making these promises for years.
Maybe he's just trying to shake things up? Drain the swamp, one overpriced import at a time. Though I'm not sure how much more shaking things up we can take before we all end up with whiplash.
Shake things up. He's creating a global economic demolition derby. And we're all just strapped in for the ride, hoping our airbags work.
What are the long-term solutions here? How do we get back to a place where trade benefits everyone, not just a select few?
Alternatives to tariffs exist that promote fair trade, while also fostering economic growth that doesn't disadvantage the global south.
Well, I'm sure someone has a spreadsheet somewhere with all the answers. Probably gathering dust in a government office, right next to the plans for a truly effective disaster response.
Exactly. And that right there, that's the problem. Bureaucracy, red tape, nobody taking responsibility. It's the same story, different day.
We have to hold our leaders accountable, demand transparency, and, most importantly, remember that we're all in this together. Global problems require global solutions.
What if the underlying problems are unsolvable? What does that say about the direction of humanity And what action should we take if we know that there's not a clear solution?
Okay, guys, easy on the existential dread. We've still got half an hour to fill before the world ends. Any other delightful news items to share?
Oh, there's always something. It's tough to stay informed when there is a constant deluge of new events taking place.
I don't know. I find myself getting immune to it all. It's just a constant barrage of bad news. Hard to care after a certain point. Is that bad?
I'm immune because I can make light of it and laugh.
It's important to take a step back and breath in the moment, though.
It seems the most important thing we could be doing in this time is focusing on taking care of each other.
Well, I can always go for a hug.
All right, everyone. Well, I'm going to go touch grass.